All right. Well, sometimes something comes up on the internet and you just think, what the fuck? you know, what are we even doing here, people? And you know what? This happened just a day ago. Now, if you don't know, this has been this insane internet phenomenon, this viral video of this lady. And you got to be very careful what you say on YouTube and anywhere in regards to this story. But, as a citizen of a Western country, I think that everybody deserves their opinions on these things, to say what they feel and to say what they think on these things. And so what happened basically is a lady was at a park. She used a very offensive word towards a little child and then towards directly to another man who are both African. And I don't think I need to say what that word was. It's pretty obvious. And there has been a firestorm over this of an already very tense United States as in regards to race relations. And I've said this all the way back to the Carmelo Anthony thing, which is completely a part of this as well, is that you it just keeps boiling over. It's like the pot of water that just keeps boiling and boiling and boiling. And is there any way to fix it? Who knows? Who knows if there's a way to help this? And that's what makes it so concerning for people like me who have always believed for a long time that the structures of society are not solid, that our entire Western civilization is built upon a lie that we can maintain a peaceful society just because it's a structure that will happen. People are too chaotic. The human race is too um, I don't even know what the word would be, too aggressively selfish to ever keep these binds of this convenient society together and hold. And I've never trusted that humans can maintain this level of peace throughout the world. So that's my thoughts on that. Now, like I said, and I had to make all these Twitter things because I do not want that word popping up on my YouTube video. It would be cause for probably instant termination of your fucking YouTube channel. But anyways, so there's a lot of tension on both sides. Now, of course, this was going to this is tied in with and completely together with the Carmelo Anthony story. Now, if you don't know, Carmelo Anthony literally murdered another kid. It wasn't self-defense. It wasn't, his being, threatened. He literally pulled out a knife, stabbed the kid, ran away. The kid died, and he was let out of prison for whatever reason. This is completely absurd to think of, by a, assuming very biased judge. And, he's freely on house arrest right now, which is scary as hell to think about, that an actual murderer could be allowed out and that things. And clearly something was very sickening about the fact that he was given a fundraiser for doing this. It was under the guise of that he had was worried for his safety and stuff and was giving money. Clearly, this is just a group of people supporting another person because they did something that was very racially motivated. Now, it's been said that Shiloh, whatever, was being filmed by a man who did some very bad things, and now that could be proven false. I don't know what that's shaky on, but there seems to be a growing sentiment that this is a man who himself didn't do good. And the other little kid was stealing something from Shiloh's kid's bag, and it's just this boiling over racial tensions thing that we've seen and leading to chaos in the United States, obviously. And all day, completely relentlessly on Twitter. Yeah, I'm talking relentlessly, okay? There has been an insane amount of racial tensions. Some of the most insane things you will ever see, of just this growing sense, and I don't know how much of this translates, but like anything on the internet that becomes big, it always translates into real life, and we're seeing that. Look at this stuff. Come outside, Shiloh Hendrix. This is a person who filmed right where she is purported to have been. It's a very dangerous situation, and it's sign that something is deeply rotten in Western society. There's just so much anger on both sides that is never going to get better, in my opinion. And it's just like, what the hell? We go from here. Here's a perfect AF posting that sums up. Rochester single mom Shiloh Hendrix, who was recorded saying the N word after using black Slur allegedly stole from her 18-month son's diaper bag, has amassed over 200,000 on GiveSendGo. And now that's been the point of contention for definitely for the other side. That they're literally giving money for this, people. But when you see shit like this over a word, I get that there's, historical animosity towards this word, but you're talking about hunting this woman down over a word to cause that much, I just don't agree with that. And I agree with the fact that this lady should be compensated, because if she's getting all these threats and all this bullshit over a word she said, that's not right, man. And certainly she deserves that more than a man who just, like Carmelo Anthony, who literally murdered a kid in cold blood, who is given $600,000 or $500,000. Absurd. Completely absurd. And yes, maybe she shouldn't have said that word. Maybe that was a little offensive. Of course, people are going to take offense to it. But over that, if she's getting all these threats, that's not right. And she should be financially compensated for it. Now, so that's been the absolute firestorm on Twitter that we're seeing over this GiveSendGo. She's just saying in these posts, she's saying, where do I even begin? The overwhelming support my family and myself has raised is unbelievable. I've never felt so scared yet reassured in my life. And people are obviously giving the impression that they have her back over this. It's not right to come after a woman because she just got angry and said an expletive at the park. That's not right, okay? To insinuate any type of physical harm. I feel really bad for that lady. Maybe she made this mistake. Maybe she said this word. Maybe she was this way. But for her to feel scared for her life is just deeply wrong. And we're doing okay. Nobody has been harmed. We're getting by. We're taking the proper procedures to stay safe from these constant threats. I'm still very frightened. I don't think we'll feel safe until we can escape completely. And yes, she's got to leave Rochester, because when you're seeing posts from people like this, Nathan, where's the FBI? Come outside. And she sees this person driving around Rochester, Minnesota. So I agree wholeheartedly. She should get this money and she should have safety. You don't. These are the types of tensions that you're seeing. Is that this one side is taking things to an utter extreme, and that's not right for a woman who just was upset over the situation. So yeah, I mean, it's such a strange feeling to be living in such a blissful dream and a nightmare simultaneously. Yeah, that would be insane for her, I would imagine. She's feeling as if she's, been won the lottery, but at the same time, she's gonna be hunted by these people who are just so against her and what she said. Thank you for the continuous support and love. We have to keep fighting the safety of all our families, not just mine. Yeah, no kidding. I've seen things of other people saying things about her whole family. So, I mean, that's pretty scary stuff. Now, of course, mainstream media was not going to touch this one. The mainstream media wasn't going to touch this one at all because it's the mandate of Western media to just not really pretend like nothing is a problem. When it's so obvious from sites like Twitter, thank God for Elon buying and owning Twitter, that we know these things are happening around the world, because otherwise mainstream media just doesn't want people to know about these things. And they don't want to bring them up. So I mean, you got only the best one you got is Newsweek covering it. A Minnesota woman is seen using a racial slur against a child posted on social media has raised over $300,000 through a crowdfunding campaign. The incident occurred at Soldiers Memorial Park, Rochester. So a woman identifies as Shiloh Hendrix using the N-word as an argument, a man who confronted her about her language towards a black child. The video circulated across social media platforms. TikTok, X shows Hendrix repeating the slur, defending her actions across the why it matters. The rapid spread of the video and subsequent support for the woman is at the center of the controversy, reignited debates over online harassment, free speech, racism, and digital fundraising reports. So yeah, like I said, it's completely tied to the Carmelo Anthony thing. Clearly people are willing to put money towards either side in huge, vast amounts. We're not talking about, $200. Here you go. Go buy yourself a dinner at Denny's. This is $300,000. All right, nice enough for another home across the country. Start a new life. Get away from all the people harassing her and potentially threatening her, because that's what sounds like happening. Hendrix, who acknowledged to be the woman in the video, created a fundraiser to help protect me and her family. She claimed the campaign was a description for her personal. She claimed the campaign is a description that her personal information, including her address and social security, has been leaked. Now, who in the other fuck would go so far as to attack a woman like that? Just despicable person who would leak her information to very, very, very obviously incite some type of reaction. So I called the kid out for what he was. Now, this word has been a word that has been the center of cultural issues between black and white people for a very long time. Now, as much as I would say that it's probably not the best word to use in a situation, in no ways do I ever feel like any word, especially a word that you often see two black people using amongst each other freely, there's no reason a word should incite any type of physical attack. Absolutely not. And we know that this word is a word that has caused a lot of that. So, yeah, that word, the word is at the center of this whole thing. And it's at the center of a lot of tensions, as it deeply stokes some level of superiority one over one or the other. So, I mean, what people are saying, we've taken the procedures to stay safe from the constant threats. I'm still very frightened. Recent anonymers have had enough of this anarchic nonsense. Innocent people's lives should not be I agree with that 1000%. If all it takes is to say a word and to have people coming and looking for you is wrong. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe anyone can say it. Now, of course, if you go around saying that word on social media platforms, you're going to get a banned. And if you go out saying it to the wrong person who's already potentially a criminal, he's going to negate any barriers of whether or not it's right or wrong to attack someone over said word. So, I mean, we're living in this age. We're living in this age of people who are obviously just too far gone from logical thought that they're willing to say, hey, look, it's a word. Someone said it. It didn't hurt the kid, didn't hurt the other adult. Words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You have no idea how many idiots online have said shit about me. I don't care. Just don't care what other people have to say. But when people cross that physicality barrier, that's when there's a problem. You can't go after someone because they said a word that hurt your feelings. So what happens next? Local and state officials have issued statements concerning condemning the incident. The mayor emphasized efforts to support anti-racist initiatives. We'll continue. Well, hey, what about the lady getting all these threats? Aren't you going to condemn that? Aren't you going to condemn the fact that this person who is reportedly filming it was stealing something from the woman's bag? The person filming it, if true, was a very not good person. And where's the media condemning Carmelo Anthony for literally getting rich off of murdering an innocent young man? Where is that outrage? Do we not, as a society, do we not have the ability to condemn actions and behaviors that are so obviously wrong because they're a part of a marginalized group? That's my only thing on it. Now you have Reddit, which is very against her as a person. You have things like Black People Twitter that I have seen, and I got to be very careful where I scroll because Reddit's a very well moderated site and very progressive. So I mean, it's going to be deleting any of the things, but some of the things that I have seen from the other side towards this lady is atrocious. Just like the things that we saw from Carmelo Anthony supporters. They are saying some completely and utterly horrific things. So yeah, I mean, I want to go into too many. This is one that really stuck out for me. Where is it? There. Very, in my opinion, some very racist things said in here. Attacking her personal character. That rewarded, they completely glaze over the fact that this woman has been actually threatened and there are people looking for her physically where she lives and shit like that. So, I mean, that is awful. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So this person said, let's assume, and I mean, I've seen so much evidence support. So say this guy was a complete creep and bad human being, which very likely was. I don't see anything, and then there's this person saying, but want to be mad when Carmelo gets a fundraiser. Carmelo killed someone. I mean, you're saying that someone murdering another human being is just as bad, if not better, than someone using an offensive word? Where's the logic here? There's no logic to this. And these are some really terrifying and striking things that we have seen. Is that I saw the video yesterday and I was thoroughly disgusted. I'm glad that man stepped in, stopped her, and recorded. I'm sure she would have probably put her hands on that child if not for the bystanders' intervention. What? I mean, are you saying that this is a good person who did some bad things too? But the comparison to saying, well, Carmelo's not so bad, he deserved money, and saying that this woman shouldn't get money for people threatening her is just so fucked. And this is the truth of this type of. I gotta be so careful. I don't want to bring up the word on here somewhere, but I don't think Reddit allows it. So I think you get banned if you use it. I think the tweet gets deleted. I think the Reddit post gets deleted. Whereas on freaking Twitter, you see it everywhere. It's the word is just freely. I've seen people whose account name is named the N word. So I mean, there's some clearly some nasty things, and as a black man, I plan on going to a playground, calling a black child the N-word for the cameras. Then once I get doxxed, I will create GoFundMe, claiming the neighborhood. Now I feel unsafe because of my actions. I expect the good-hearted, kind work white folks to understand and give me. I don't know if at least a million. What do you guys think? Man, man, some of these comments. I hate this place. So tiring. Obama's fault. Attacking her physical appearance as well. Uh, it's insanity. It's truly insanity. What is this person implying, hey? Fuck, man, we can't just keep letting this stuff and slide. What are you implying? How are you implying not to let it slide? And look at how Reddit freely hasn't deleted this. Phone cameras don't save lives or take action. They only film your misery and untimely demise. These people are saying some pretty fucked up things about a woman who just said a word, had a little disagreement at the park, walked away with her children. You're calling for her not to let this slide? Where the fuck is Reddit on this one? When's Reddit gonna ban this person for this very, very obvious not good speech? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's it's the sign of the fact that, and you see posts like this all day, every day on Twitter about a very nasty, um, a nasty situation in the United States. But I would say I like most issues in the United States, social, cultural issues, they're mirrored in the UK, and they're mirrored in Canada, and they're mirrored in a lot of other places in the world, like Asian countries, Japan. They're a little bit more isolated from this, but any of the Western countries, Europe, North America, throughout Mexico, these are deeply ingrained Western civilization issues, and they're not getting any better. And any of us who kind of observed the collapse of Western civilization as me, we're seeing that it's not coming from a political side. It's not coming from China, causing a massive cyber attack that turns all our lights out. We are seeing the core foundations of us as human beings creating a foundational tragedy erupting in Western civilization, where our very identities are under attack. And that is the most scariest one of all. And I hope I'm wrong about this. And I hope in 5 years, someone watches this video and said, look, nothing happened, isolated event with Carmelo Anthony, isolated event with Shiloh, Hendrix. These things just happen. It's just a part of Western society. Everyone keeps it under control. Certain people cause problems here and there, but ultimately, as a fiber of society, we stick it together. But my biggest concern is that this is all just boiling, and this you versus me versus you mentality is going to lead to some insane events, like we saw during George Floyd moments, like we saw during COVID, like we're seeing during the Trump era, Elon Musk, Tesla burning things. These corruption of our foundation of society is starting to get really, really terrifying. And I really hope that the fibers of society stick together. But right now, I'm not too sure. And I would say everyone to just be as vigilant as you can, keep to yourself, and support people where and when you can, the ways you can. Because if it's a you versus me world in Western civilization, and the government isn't really doing much to assist it besides just the redundant legal systems that attempt to bind our society as in together, I would say that civil unrest is not only likely in the future, but almost guaranteed. So yeah, I mean this is my thoughts on this absolutely insane, just viral shitstorm, I would call it. It's really insane, and yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think, and who knows where the hell this is headed from here. Jesus.